Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis, and today we're going to be talking about Ripple and XRP, so let's just dive in and let's talk about a few things. So for the most part, we are still ranging on Bitcoin. We are ultimately waiting for that 20K cascading fall. Ultimately, that is going to be when we break 20K. We will most likely see it this weekend, hopefully. But in my opinion, max pain is going to be around like the 14 to 16.5K zone. I've outlined this multiple times, but I am waiting for my major ape zones on some positions. I have been averaging in though. I think that right now, dollar cost averaging is going to be your best friend. And I also think that right now, this is such a massive opportunity in time, and I've shared my thoughts on it in terms of like the March of 2020 timeframe compared to even now. This is where legends are made. This is where future millionaires are made. And yes, XRP, in my opinion, will make a large amount of individuals millionaires. And the reason why is because I've said like multiple times within this market, like you go to the 7-day span and you go to see like, some of these massive assets that are down like 40+%, 30+%. You got to look into some of these projects and really kind of analyze them from a perspective on like, are they still building? Is their team still expanding? What is the gist behind them? And honestly, when we look at XRP, Ripple is continuing to expand and build. And I actually shared this on Twitter. I said, keep accumulating projects that continue to build and expand their teams and their projects. And I labeled a bunch that I personally love. And of course, there's like a few that are missing, like Chainlink, for an example. But I said there are many more, but these utility gems are crucial for the future of many industries, including the future financial system. And talking about that, we will be addressing the future financial system in this video. But if you guys are not following me on Twitter, I definitely advise you to. Ncash official on pretty much everything. I talk to you guys about a lot of things on Twitter regarding the XRP lawsuit, XRP timelines, and things like that. And also talking about Ripple and things that are happening around, this entire community. We have been seeing major updates from Ripple themselves. In fact, we've seen some NFT updates, which, by the way, if you guys like the content that I post on this channel, you would love the NFT channel that's down in the description below at the top. It's my NFT channel. I talk about XRP-based NFT projects, residual income within the XRP community as well. There's a ton of things to learn, ton of things to look at. So if you guys are more than welcome to, go check it out. But we do see from Ripple, they are on a hiring spree. Hundreds of roles around the globe. They're continuously filling roles, and they're continuously expanding day in and day out. This is what solidifies my position in XRP. I know that XRP is not Ripple. I know that, in terms of like what we are really kind of looking at on the, brighter side of the picture is just the fact that like, if Ripple is continuing to expand and succeed in terms of their vision, then ultimately XRP will be included in that vision as the settlement token on the Ripple network. This is why I continue to say like XRP is probably one of the best opportunities in this market as a utility gem. And also, they're continuously fighting the good fight within the SEC lawsuit. Yes, I do believe that we are going to see a settlement within the 2022 timeframe. It might get pushed slightly into like Q1 of 2023. And the only reason why I say that is because I think that the entire case will be wrapped up around like roughly the November-December timeframe of this, year. With the full-on decision being around like the 2023 timeframe. But we could see a settlement in November. I shared my thoughts on this with even what Jeremy Hogan said as well. So definitely pay attention to November. Around that time is going to be a very interesting time to really kind of continue to focus on the SEC lawsuit itself. But of course, from Stuart Alderoty, General Counsel at Ripple. He says 4 years, since the infamous Hinman speech, and we're nowhere closer on knowing how to classify digital assets in the U.S., keeping every crypto, including Ethereum, in regulatory limbo. I penned some thoughts for, Fortune, why enough is enough. And I did talk to you guys slightly about, like, the Hinman speech basically muddied the crypto waters. Yeah, I mean, for the most part, like, that entire speech is what a lot of these companies kind of relied on, kind of comparing and contrasting, like, their projects to Ethereum. And I think that, like, when we talk about like the SEC saying to some of these companies like, listen, you knew the regulatory guidelines, the boundaries, and I think that that is just a terrible way of going about it. Like, you never outlined anything. So how is that any sort of fair notice? That's why, like, the fair notice defense was like the biggest thing in this case to really kind of fight towards. And we are still kind of seeing a major fight towards that by really kind of addressing the Hinman speech, which I think that this is a great area to focus on. But I also think that we should focus on the Hinman emails as well. I really want to see those Hinman emails released. And also, in terms of the future of finance, so we do see the BIS basically talking about the future monetary system, which serves the public interest. Now, this is going to be coming out on June 21st, so definitely keep, a close eye out on this. But they're basically talking about ledgers and, the soul of money, if you will, here. So I can kind of skip ahead. So we do see here, like, trust in money remains the bedrock of stability. My main message today is simple. The soul of money belongs neither to a big tech nor to an anonymous ledger. Basically, they're talking about like a DLT, like a distributed ledger technology within like crypto, aka like the XRP ledger. In my opinion, I think that a lot of these CBDCs will be launched on private ledger technology simply due to the underlying technology behind them. Like the tech stacks are something to not disregard. Like when we look at the efficiencies that you could unlock utilizing something like the XRP ledger, it's a no-brainer move for these CBDCs to launch on these ledgers. And the reason why I foresee them launching on them is, CBDCs without, a base point foundation, aka like a ledger to launch on, it's the equivalent of utilizing fiat except in a digital way. It's kind of like PayPal, right? PayPal, when it first launched, like everybody thought it was the future of money, but ultimately speaking, it's just the same exact thing as like, making a cross-border payment. Settlement times are pretty slow. You pay astronomical fees. There's a large amount of issues within PayPal or even Cash App or Venmo, etc. Like these are payment mechanisms that we utilize on a day-to-day basis, but they're still utilizing pre-approved, liquidity, if you will. So again, kind of going into like XRP and freeing up capital and things like that, like that's where we should be focusing on, especially from like a digital standpoint on money. So I think that the BIS here is just kind of trying to say like, central banks, like they are here to protect the banks. I mean, like these are, the main players behind the monopoly that we know of SWIFT. And we do see central banks have been and continue to be the institution's best place, to provide trust in the digital age. And honestly, like when we talk about trust, security, transparency, all of these efficiencies that, banks truly strive for, crypto at the end of the day, like a lot of these payment mechanisms and networks within crypto provide everything that a bank would essentially want and need, but also it really gives the even retail individual or even institutional grade clients, something to utilize on a day-to-day basis that could, streamline the entire banking process or the entire transactional process. This is why crypto is so revolutionary to the financial sector. Now, also, we did see Jerome Powell talking about the revolutionizing time in, the financial markets. Listen closely.
Looking forward, rapid changes are taking place in the global monetary system that may affect the international role of the dollar in the future. Most major economies already have or are in the process of developing instant 24/7 payments. Our own FedNow service will be coming online in 2023. And in light of the tremendous growth in crypto assets and stablecoins, we are examining whether a U.S. central bank digital currency would improve upon what is an already safe and efficient domestic payment system. As our white paper on this topic notes, a U.S. CBDC could also potentially help maintain the dollar's international standing.
And of course, he mentions like, crypto adoption and crypto growth. Like it's ultimately, pushing us to the point in time like where we need to make a decision on a US based CBDC. Like we need to analyze the efficiencies, the, major change in history of, the monetary system. This is basically a monumental time in history. Now, talking about the FedNow service that he is, basically mentioning here by 2023, it's going to be launched. I've talked to you guys about it many times, 24/7, 365 processing. It's also, sourcing liquidity for instant payments. As you guys do see down here, the FedNow service will provide a liquidity management tool to support instant payment services. It's also going to help a lot of their participants in terms of like liquidity needs and things like that. Like, I'm not going to say like this is basically talking about, the XRP mechanism, but it essentially is. It's kind of like pinpointing to it. Now, I bring up this FedNow instant payments guideline. Now, this is actually from the FedNow website. So if you guys want to go check this out, it's on frbservices.org. But they have a whole breakdown here. Like, they have like about the FedNow service, blog articles, all that kind of stuff within this. But this is really kind of centric on, digital transactions and making them instant. So, every single payment, that is made basically becoming an instant payment. Now, within this, a few things really kind of, stood out to me. One, it's the talks of like, instant payments in general. So here you have like the service level, instant payments 24/7, 365. They're also talking about like solutions for, financial institutions. They're also talking about, liquidity needs as well within this entire document. Like, there's so much to really kind of look at. They're also talking about like ISO 222 standards, which is obviously by 2023 going to be ushered in massively and globally. But there's a few things that I want to mention here. So we do see here who can utilize the FedNow service. And you do see service providers, you do see payment hubs, payment processors, core banking providers, corporate credit unions, bankers, banks. We see banks, credit unions, savings and loans, corporate credit unions, bankers, banks, and of course you do see like the end users over here, other industry providers. Like this is basically everyone. Like anyone that wants to utilize this, instant payment service, essentially can. Now, why am I talking about this in regards to XRP and Ripple? Well, it's this diagram here, and this is the thing that I really want to be centric on, because we've talked about a diagram very, very similar to this in regards to Volante Tech. And as a matter of fact, I have it opened over here from Bank XRP, shout out to him, but I've talked to you guys about Volante multiple times. We do see Volante Technologies launched accelerator for bank integration to Ripple's distributed financial technology in 2015. A US-based banking heavyweight, BNY Mellon, have joined forces to create and deploy technology to enable real-time payments in the US and internationally. Now, I'm going to open this in a new tab real quick and close that out just to kind of show you guys this. So here we have this FedNow service. Now, I've addressed this diagram multiple times. For everybody who wants a bigger diagram here, hold on, let me grab it real quick. So there we have it. But here is, the overall breakdown of the system. Now, the reason why I bring this up and the reason why I talk to you guys about this is because it's extremely similar to what the FedNow service diagram is. And remember, I've talked to you guys about the FedNow service with Volante Tech. In fact, Volante was a chosen partner of the Fed to work on the FedNow service with them. So you're trying to tell me that this diagram that looks eerily similar to this same diagram with the FedNow service for reserve banks being the center point for settlement is not the same as Ripple being the one for payment settlement. Ripple is, at the forefront of this entire system here, as you do see from Bank A to Bank B. This is going through the entire process. You do see, confirmation of payment settlement. This is fees and FX rate quoted through Ripple to lower those fees drastically over like 30 to 60%, depending on if you are utilizing XRP with RippleNet, which in my opinion, it's a no-brainer move not to. But when we look at this, it's very, very similar. You do see FedNow service for reserve banks being the forefront settlement centric point. And of course, this is within seconds that it is settled. This is instant settlement. Remember what I've said about instant settlement. If you are seeing instant settlement, guess what? XRP is being utilized. This is why a lot of these Ripple processing diagrams that we see, like within payments from Bank A to Bank B, they will almost always utilize XRP because of instant settlement and also liquidity purposes. And like I said, the FedNow service, when we look at this, it is also centered around liquidity with instant payments, which tells me that this is most likely going to be utilizing XRP. Obviously, we don't have a full-on confirmation of this, but I think that this could be XRP basically, powering the reserve banks and massive financial institutional, demand area. Remember, this is basically focused on almost anyone that wants to utilize this. This is going to be focused on the banks, credit unions, almost all of the money, if you will, that gets pushed around. So this is something to really kind of pinpoint and focus on. especially when we are seeing like the buzzword terms around like Ripple being thrown around within a lot of these documents, like for an example, instant settlement or liquidity purposes. These are things that, yes, we talk about on a day-to-day basis within finance, but when we talk about like diagrams that look very similar compared to like what we have been, used to seeing within even like Volante, and Ripple's at the forefront of it for settlement and instant payments, and also like even liquidity purposes, it's hard not to think like, hey, this is most likely going to have XRP and Ripple written all over it. And this does, to me, look like the perfect diagram for Ripple and XRP to be at the center point for not only settlement, but also, liquidity purposes for a lot of these major financial institutions that need liquidity, use cases as well. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below, though. I'd love to hear from you guys. If you guys enjoyed the video, please leave a like, subscribe, and turn notifications on. It does help the channel grow immensely, and I do always appreciate it. But also, if you guys do want more free content, you guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below, as well as check out the NFT channel. But with that being said, I hope that you guys all have a beautiful day or beautiful night wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.